Today I will be making vanilla creme brulee. Although it pretty much only involves sugar, eggs, cream, and vanilla, I'm told it is a super hard technical dessert to make. So hopefully it goes well. Alright, so the first step is kind of 2 in 1. I have water boiling, which will aid in the actual baking process of the creme brulee custard. And 2, I am cooking the heavy cream on about medium heat until it is just at a simmer. Also, the oven is preheating to 300 degrees and is getting ready to go. There's my beeper. Okay, so while the cream is cooking, I'm going to separate my egg whites from my egg yolks. I always find it's easier just to put the shells and the whites in a separate container. Takes 4 large egg yolks. The package said large, but these do not look very big, so we will see. Oops. It also specified in the recipe, just get a close-in of that please, that if there's any little white chunks, you are supposed to pick them out. Okay, apparently a spoon will work better. Alright, so simmering is very hard to do, especially when you lose your thermometer. But I was always told when you can start to see little bubbles forming just along the edges, that is simmering. Simmering is the heat just below boiling. So I'm going to take this off the heat, turn off my burner, and let that cool for about 10 minutes before I move on to the next step. I have added my sugar to my eggs, and now you're just supposed to whisk until it is just combined, which apparently does not take too long at all, because I would say that is just combined. It's a nice light yellow, and I cannot see any white clumps of sugar. Try to do this with one hand. I'm going to add in my teaspoon of vanilla. There's the vanilla. I wish I had a vanilla bean. They do not sell that in the small town of Red River, Saskatchewan. And now I'm just going to stir in my vanilla. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There, looks good to me. Okay, so this is a little tricky part. First of all, apparently I was not supposed to put the vanilla in yet, but I already did. So you start by just adding 1 ladle of the warm cream to temper the eggs, which is just to essentially slowly bring them to a warmer temperature, and whisk that in. This whisk has seen better days. And then next, I add in 2 ladles of cream and whisk that in. Oh, it smells good. And now for the final step, I just slowly add in the rest of the cream. and whisk that. It says gently whisk until combined, but not frothy. So a couple bubbles there. Maybe I got a little carried away. I'm just going to stir it gently now. It specifically says if you see any bumps to strain it, but luckily I see no lumps of anything. So my final step will be to divide it amongst my little ramekins. I'm just starting by pouring a little bit in each, and then I'll even it out as I go. A handy little line in these, that's probably what it's for. All right, now the final step. Is to pour my hot water into the pan so it fills about halfway up the ramekins. I hope I made enough hot water. I would say that is probably just enough. All right, thank you, filmer. Okay, so my custard is in the oven. It says to bake them between 40 and 55 minutes until the custard is mostly set but a little jiggly. I have no clue what that means because I've never made this before, but here's to hoping. Okay, this is after 50 minutes. Let's check the jiggly. I still feel like it is not firm enough, so I'm going to put it in for another 5 minutes. Alright, this is 55 minutes cooked, which was the upper range of what the recipe called for. That looks like a lot of jiggle to me. I don't want to cook my phone. I'm going to go a couple more minutes and then I think I'm going to call it good. I tend to overcook things, so hopefully this is better than that. Okay, so instead of using a little hand torch, which I don't have and I don't feel safe using a big torch, instead you can leave the oven door open on broil and it'll caramelize your sugar. It takes about 1 to 3 minutes, and the difference between caramelized and burnt is seconds. So this is another very precise part of this dessert. I will see how the result turns out. Okay, so it's not quite as hard as I thought. Perhaps the broiler didn't make quite a thick enough crust, but I'm going to dip in and see if it's all the way cooked. I would say it is. It's good.